Alright, welcome back to the series on world building. And in the last few videos, we went over kind of where to start, building out your initial ideas, geography, and now we're going to get into ecology. And some people think, this is more important. For other people, it's less important. It really depends on how much a particular setting is going to, how much of a role it's going to play in the story. But a story like this that will pretty much entirely take place within this forest or very close to the forest. The forest itself is kind of a character. A lot of times your setting can be a character in the story if it's important enough. So what you would want to do in a case like this is do a Google search and go for something like ecology of pine forests. So ecology of pine forests is a complex fire-dependent ecosystem that supports a wide variety of life. Okay? A lot of pine species require low-intensity fire in order to propagate. We don't need to get into that much detail necessarily, although you could include that as a little detail that perhaps just add that as a potential detail that could be added in for history and things later. Okay. So the understory, which is the forest floor, can feature a wide range of grasses, wildflowers, and shrubs. Okay, some ecosystems like the longleaf pine grassland forest are among the most diverse in North America. Okay, so what we would basically just do is copy this, and you might just consider this to be, we're taking more notes, and instead can, you say it does, just features a wide range of grasses, wildflowers, and shrubs. Pine forests provide shelter from weather and predators for wildlife. Species include birds, mammals, numerous reptiles, and amphibians. Okay, so basically we just want to go ahead and copy this, if it will let me. Thank you. Okay. Threads. Alright. Okay. So, the point of this, and by copying and pasting information like this, you are not cheating. What you are doing is giving yourself ideas and an idea of what you might want to work on and expand. Okay? Do you want anything more fantasy? Is the big question you want to ask yourself here. So we could say, for example, you could come over here and other names. There is a flower name generator, I believe, or a plant name generator. Okay. Okay, there's a fungus name generator. So we could say that there's pincushion orange lichen. Boring fern. Small licorice. Meadow rust gall fungus. Okay, let's go ahead and grab that name. That sounds interesting. Common tree fungus is meadow rust gall fungus. Okay. And we can say that there wasn't a flower name generator, but I know that there is a plant name generator. Plant and tree name. Okay, so We could say that juniper is kind of a pine, I believe. Yeah, it's evergreen tree. And just say that bitter juniper. Let's find a few other names, perhaps. Uh, Purple vine, fir trees, and oh, let's see. Um, it's the pink joy. Pink joy. Let's see. Types of pine trees. Stone pine, eastern white pine, red pine. So we could just say pink joy pine, and instead of stone pine, we could say something like shield top pines. Okay? So now we have some trees. We have a common tree fungus. We could say that there's actually surprised that there is no flower name in here. Not wildflowers. Nope. Well, then let's just do a search for flower name generator. Okay, plant names, no. And this is where you might go over to ChatGPT. So, and say, give me some names for flowers and plants that could be found in this fantasy location. Okay, and it's given us all sorts of different things. And it's the sort of thing, do you want to take them all? Don't have to, but this is, for example, it is an example, so we can just go ahead and take all of them and prune later as needed. So now we have some details about the ecology. Plant life, at least. So now we think about what kind of birds might live here. You don't need 50 different kinds of birds, just have a couple. So let's say bug species names. I don't think we need that necessarily. I do not see a bird name generator. Okay. Well, then let's just go ahead and take the shortcut a little bit and come over here and say, give me a few birds, mammals, and what else might have been found there, and other wildlife. Okay, and it's going to give us some other wildlife that we can put in here. And again, it's just a matter of you take what you like and you get rid of what you don't. But again, since this is purely a teaching tool, and unfortunately, when you paste things into WordPad, you often have a whole bunch of extra spaces you got to get rid of. So what is the point? You know, if you might be thinking, well, you're just letting ChatGPT and AI do all the work for you. No, I'm using it to speed the process up. I can still go through here and change every last one of these, edit out anything I don't like, and you can do the same thing too. What I am not doing is wasting a huge amount of time on something that ultimately is not going to matter for two shits when it comes to writing your story. How much of is any of this stuff going to actually come up within the story? Maybe one of these types of birds, you know, a frost-crested raven. Maybe somebody in the village trains them for messing to send messages and stuff instead of like messenger pigeons or something. So you might have one animal or one particular kind of tree or something that actually matters in the story, but for the most part, it's just little tiny bits of details, names. That's all you really, it really comes down to. It's just some names that you can drop in to help your world feel more alive. And when you're writing fiction or doing an RPG campaign, more often than not, all you really need is just some tiny little bits of details here and there, smatterings of details to bring your world to life. You do not need an entire encyclopedia and to spend weeks and weeks and weeks trying to come up with the perfect name. I will say this as often as I possibly can. There is no such thing as a perfect name for anything. There are only names that are good, that you like, that fit the story, and are easy enough to say that it's not going to have your readers going or your players going, can you repeat that please? That you want to avoid. But for the most part, all you're looking for is little details, little things to help bring the world to life. So now we have more than enough detail for the ecology of this particular story, where it's going to take place, because we can just drop in little bits and pieces from what we got from the AI. Again, you take what you like, get rid of what you don't, and you just use it as little details. You dribble them in as needed to help make the world feel a bit more alive. Okay, so thanks very much for watching. Hit the subscribe button. Don't forget to like, share, and leave a comment letting me know what you struggle with when it comes to world building, because I will get to that in other videos or in the comments directly. And there are some more resources I have written available on Amazon that you might be interested in. Links in the description. Check those out. I'll see y'all on the next one. Later.